Hi, good evening. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Conscious Creators ToolBox. It's 7 o'clock. It's Thursday, May the 18th, 2023. Time for the Conscious Creators ToolBox. Come on in. Welcome. Gonna be broadcasting tonight from our YouTube channel. Welcome to our new YouTube channel. Not so new anymore. We've been around for a couple of months, several months, and kind of getting used to it. But happy to have you. If you would, we would like to invite you to subscribe if you are so inclined. And when you stop in to see us, please drop us a comment in the comments in our comments. You know, click. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And remember, if you give us a thumbs down, you have to tell us the reason why. Okay, we're aimed to please, and just kind of want to know, how we're doing. And if we're not doing just so, thumbs down. Tell us what's going on, what's happening. Anyway, welcome tonight to the Conscious Creators Toolbox. We're here every Thursday night, 7 o'clock for about half hour, 45 minutes. We try to get it done in a time. And we're listening to Tony Braxton. I think it was Tony. Was it Tony Braxton? I think it was Tom Braxton. Tom Braxton. One of the Braxtons. Anyway, we're listening to him, but we have no rights to the music, and we just enjoy it. I just enjoy music. So anyhow, welcome tonight. Conscious Creators Toolbox is here every Thursday night for a session, and we look at our creativity, our creative powers, our creative abilities. We take them out of our tool shed. We've got so many. We got so many power, so many tools, creative tools in our tool shed that we tend to, I don't know, maybe forget them or take them for granted, or maybe overuse some of them and underuse some. Some we still haven't used them enough, and we're just learning about them. So we take them out of the tool shed, kind of discover them, identify what they are, and we look at how to use them, what they were created and provided and given to us for, how we use them to create our reality, our destinies, and make our dreams come true, manifest our beautiful lives. That's what we use our creativity for. We cannot not create. We cannot not create. We cannot manifest, not manifest, because we are creators by default, by our nature, by our inheritance. Were we were born as creators, and we have been creating from the day that we opened our eyes, or made that first cry out. We start creating at that point, and we'll create up until the day that we you know shut it down, and give it up. From cradle to grave, we're creators, okay, by default, by nature, because we're created beings, created out of the same stuff of our source, our Father, our Creator, God, Father, divine. So we're created out of the same stuff, and we can have, and we can do, and we can be everything, all that our source, our Creator can have and do and be. We have access to that. Our Creator, God, Father, divine, withholds absolutely nothing from us. We are created beings, unlimited, unrestricted created beings, created just like our source, just like our Father. And like I said, Father, Creator, Source, God withholds nothing from us, lays everything out in this beautiful, beautiful world, and this beautiful galaxy, this beautiful planet that we call Earth, we call home. Everything is available to us to use, and to utilize, and just to create. We're the masters of our destinies and our ships, and we are the captains, and we're the boss. Yeah. And like I said, we have all of the powers and all of the creativity that our Creator has. We inherited all of that, and nothing is withheld from us. And I tell I tell my folk, I tell my family, I tell my friends, I tell whoever will listen, that my source, my Father, my God, Creator, Divine Father, can do all things. has access to all things, can be all that source God wishes to be, desires to be. And so can I, because I have the same powers and same abilities, the same stuff. I'm made out of the same stuff of my Father, of God. And so are you. You can do that too. Father can do all things, and there's nothing that my Father can not do. He can do all things, even the impossible things, even the things that are impossible. My source, my Father can do, and so can we. So can we. So anyway, Conscious Creators ToolBox. We like I said, we come in here and have a session every Thursday evening for about a half hour or so, and talk about our creativity. And we've been doing a session on ego, and we're going to continue ego tonight. We're going to be looking at ego, and I think we're going to be talking about ego and compare, kind of in comparison to, or in, we're going to kind of partner it up with our beginner's mind. We talked about a little bit about beginner's mind last week, and we're going to talk about, I think our topic tonight is, who do we consult? Who do we consult when we want advice? Because ego is always eager to provide information and give us advice and tell us what we can and can't do. But who do we consult? Who do we consult? Do we consult our ego, or do we we open ourselves up and ask our beginner's mind? So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. We're going to see which one of those companions, traveling companions. We're on our journey here, and our partners are ego, and of course we have access to all those tools, and our mind is one of those creative tools. So who do we consult? Do we consult our mind, our intellect, our beginner's mind, or do we consult ego as we find our way and traveling in a route? Uh, traveling on our destinies, on our journeys, on life journeys. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But before I get started, I have a few announcements I wanted to make. I want to let you know and invite you to take advantage of our project. We got a brand new project, a manifestation project we're working on. And we got a team of us, about six or eight of us, have gotten together, and we have set an intention to manifest a 5-day retreat on one of the beautiful islands, either Kona, the big island, or one of the small island, Oahu. We're gonna take our little team over there, and we're gonna spend 5 beautiful days on one of those beautiful islands, and we're manifesting that. We're manifesting it, and we're doing it in a unique way. It's walking our way and working our way through all of the steps of manifestation, of the manifestation process. We manifest by default. We manifest anyway, but sometimes it's a good idea as a tool too, as an understanding, is to understand all of the process of manifestation. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to get up close and personal with manifestation with this project. We set our intention last month. We set our intention to be in Hawaii in October for 5 beautiful days. And in the process, and between now and then, we're going to walk our way through all of the steps of manifestation. Our next session is scheduled for May the 28th. And we're going to move from intentions and fighting off some of those doubts, and we've been struggling with that. We've been working with that over the past few weeks since we set our intentions. I don't know about you guys, but since I set that intention, you know ego's been talking to me. I've been confronted by a few folk, and and how much is it going to cost, what's it going to be, how you going to get there, just questions, just kind of planting a little bit of doubt. So we're kind of working our way through that, and helping each other overcome those doubts and those and that those I don't know, restating the intention. We've already said it. We said it. We know we're going. October, we'll be in Hawaii for 5 days. We don't yet know for sure which island, but we know we're going to be on one of those beautiful islands. There's 9 of them. We narrowed it down to 2, so we got it down. We're gonna be visiting one of those 2 beautiful islands. Our next session is the 28th of May, 7 o'clock. It's a Sunday. And we're going to be looking at visualization, because visualization is a very unique and an interesting process or step in the process of manifestation. So we're going to look at that up close and personal, and then over the next the following weeks we're going to be working that process using our imagination, visualization, using our senses, using our all five of them, six of them, seven of them, however many senses you have. We're going to apply all of those senses to the process and visualize and actually see ourselves in there. We're gonna go to the end. We're gonna be in October in our visions and in our imagination. So we're gonna already be there. So, like Neville says, you are, or Neville's partner says, I think it was Abdullah that said. Abdullah said, you are in Barbados, so we are in Hawaii. We'd like to invite you to be a part of that project. You don't have to be manifesting a 5-day retreat like we are, but the same steps that we're going to be applying to our manifestation, our intention to be in Hawaii in October, you can use those same steps to manifest whatever you desire, whatever you dream about, whatever you want to bring into your experience and into your reality. So think about it. The sessions are absolutely free. They last about an hour and a half, and they are a Zoom event. You are required to register in order to get the link to actually attend or be a participant in that event. So if you'd like to be a part of that event, like to check those steps out, which we're going to be talking about the project, actually looking at the project, the steps. We're going to be looking at, just kind of looking at some of the things that we would like to, happen and be doing and experience while we're in Hawaii. So we're going to be talking about that and visualizing that and putting that out there and setting those pictures so that we can start seeing ourselves and feeling ourselves and smelling it and tasting ourselves in Hawaii in October. So if you're interested in it, register, go on our Facebook page, Team Conscious Creators, and grab that link. And I'll post the link here on our YouTube channel as well. So register for that event. Like I said, it's absolutely free. The follow-up, however, we are maintaining the library of those events. We're recording them, so they're available to you if if you missed the original or the date. We're going to actually post them on our website, and they'll be available to you at a nominal fee, but you have to kind of pay for that to access them that way. But for I think about $3 or $4, you can actually download that session where we actually walk you through, explain what intention means, explain what a visualization and how to use your imagination, and give you some helpful tips on how to apply that going forward and getting you ready, getting you into it. Because like I said, we're looking at each individual step of manifestation. We look at the whole process, and we're working it, and we'd like to invite you to work it right along with us to manifest whatever you so desire to manifest. So think about it. Think about registering for us. And if you miss it, you can find it on our website, and I'll try to post that on our YouTube channel and also on our Facebook page, and also Instagram, our Instagram page, Instagram presence too. Try to post that access to that follow up. If you don't catch the original, you can follow up. And hi, Virginia, you can catch the follow up, or go back and review them on our website, which is Team Conscious Creators as well. Anyway, so tonight, again, we're going to be talking about, let me think, did I have any more announcements? Oh, I would like to let you know that I am back at Interfaith Truth Center on the 4th Sundays at 11 o'clock. And I'd like to invite you to come out, or I'm not sure if they're broadcasting on Facebook right now, but come out to 4971 Austell Road in Austell, Georgia. Come out and see us. It's 11 o'clock for our Sunday morning gathering. We call it our Sunday spiritual gathering service on Sunday at 11 o'clock. We're there every Sunday at 11. I happen to be there on the fourth Sunday, and I would love, love, love to see your face there to join us. So I think those are the only two announcements I have. Yes. So we've been talking about this series. We've been talking about. Oh, I wanted to mention too. Did you all catch Jay on her last Facebook post on the crystals? I think she was talking about how to use crystals in decorating your house and where you can situate them and what crystal is good for which area of the house and how you can use it even in the bathroom. I think she has some crystals that you use in the kitchen, in the bath, every room in the house. She's had some suggestions. I think I think you still find that on the Facebook page. If not, you can find it on our YouTube channel. But she had I think it was last Thursday, she had a session where she talked about how to use crystals in your house to decorate and some of the purposes and some of the things the crystals are good for in certain areas in your home, your bedroom, your kitchen, your dining room, your entryways, your patios. She had crystals for everything. I think she even had a crystal for around the pool. So anyway, check that out. If you didn't, if you missed it, you can find it on our YouTube channel as well. It's with Jay Johnson, our crystal light worker is what she is. Alrighty. So tonight we're gonna go finish. We're gonna work. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about ego, and we're gonna talk about oh, how we use ego, in our manifestation and our creativity. It's part of our creativity. I think I hope that I was pretty clear when I was explaining, sharing with you that ego is indeed one of our creative tools. And I told you, I shared with you, in some sessions before, previous sessions, I tried to give you some information about, you know, ego. Ego. You've got one. We all have one. We all know, it's all about. But and I know that ego gets a bad rap sometime, and that's okay because ego deserves a bad rap sometimes because some of the things that ego does is, uh, I'm going to call it an untrained ego or an ego without boundaries. Okay, we all know how that ego looks. Okay, but ego is definitely, without a doubt. In fact, every part of us, every part of us, every characteristic. We have so many creative tools in our tool shed, and ego happens to be one. So we rely on ego. Has a purpose and has a service that it provides for us. It's a servant. All of our tools are. All of our tools are servants, and we learn how to use them when we understand that. When we understand that they are tools that we use to manifest our realities and our lives and make our dreams and have our experiences by using those tools, it helps us if we use them properly and correctly with any tool. You can have all kind of tools. You got, if you're like most folks, you got a toolbox somewhere that's got regular tools and hammers and nails and screwdrivers and pliers and wrenches and all kind of tools you got in your toolbox. And if you don't know how to use them or which one to use for whatever, you could be all day long trying to fix something or get something done, or you got a hammer, but the hammer, you don't use the hammer for everything. So just like us, we have creative tools in our toolbox and our creative tool shed, and we owe it to ourselves to understand what those tools are for, what they're meant for, what they were given and created and presented to us, and we inherited them for. And we, as creators and conscious and aware and awakened creators and manifestors, it benefits us to understand absolutely everything we can understand about the tools that we have available to us to manifest our lives and our realities and our experiences. And ego happens to be a tool that, just like our words and just like our thoughts and just like our emotions and just like our feelings and just, I could go on. I could go on and on with the list of desires and just the intentions, all those things are our tools. So we're going to talk a little, going to talk tonight about who, how, or yeah, who do you consult for what, when you're getting ready to manifest, and you have a mind, and you have a heart, and you have, your desires, your wants, and your wishes. Who do you consult, or who do you listen to? Who do you get advice from when you s- start manifesting and start creating and start wanting to bring things and magnetize things into your experience? Do you listen to your ego, or do you listen to your mind and your intellect, or which one? Which one would serve, which tool serves a particular purpose, or serve a particular purpose, any given a purpose, okay, specific purpose. If you're getting ready to buy a new, get ready to manifest a new home, do you listen to ego, or do you listen to your intellect and your mind? Do you let, do you think your way through it? You process it. Or who you gonna call is what I call it. You're gonna call ego, or you're gonna call and have access to your beginner's mind. We talked about the beginner's mind, and we said the beginner's mind is an open mind that is curious, and that approaches all situations like with new eyes, as if it's the first time they've ever seen or heard or been exposed to a particular experience or thing, or whatever it is that you're presented. You look at it with brand new eyes. That's a beginner's mind. You don't have any preconceived notions of how it it works, or it should happen, or should come about. You know nothing about it. It's just something brand spanking new. You look at it as if it's the first time seeing it. And we talked a little bit, previous sessions, about how what the beginner how we where the beginner's mind is the mind that we have when we come here as babies, that newborn baby who has an empty, a blank slate of a mind, and knows nothing, knows absolutely nothing, other than, probably just look around in awe with question after questions, like, what is this? Who is that? What, it's always questions, just full of questions. And you know how kids are. Kids are full of questions. They want to know everything. They want to know what, they want to know why, they want to know how, they want to know who, they want to know. All right. And I think I share with you that your beginner's mind is that mind that you have, that the pure beginner's mind is that mind that you have before intellect clicks in, before the first question is answered, or the first question is even asked. That's the mind that I kind of introduced as the beginner's mind. And I encouraged you to cultivate, or to try to adopt, or try to visualize or imagine having that beginner's mind, and understanding the attributes and the characteristics of that beginner's mind, so that you could incorporate it as a new experience. Because when we approach things as a baby, or just a first time looking at anything, we experience a whole lot more than we already knew. All right. Because if we go in like ego knows everything. Ego knows absolutely everything. You ask ego's got the answer for you. Ego is an expert on everything. If we go in with an expert attitude, then it automatically closes our mind off to new stuff. Right. And we think that we know something 100%. Well, we never know anything. Absolutely nothing do we know 100%. Nothing. All right. We know we know a lot of it. Even if we consider ourselves quote unquote experts, we still don't know everything about a thing. All right. So always I would encourage you, as a creator, as an open-minded, awakened, aware, and conscious co-creator with the universe, with me, with whomever, to to experience, or to go into an experience with brand new eyes, curious eyes, un no expectation eyes, no preconceived notions about a thing, just with a question mark, like, what is this? what more can I know about this? Yeah, I know these things about it, but what more can I know about it? That's what a beginner mind acts like, or how they approach understanding and learning, and getting to know more, or know something about a thing or an event or an experience. They go into it with just with the no, just curiosity, just a blank curiosity. Just tell me something that I don't already know. That's an open-minded beginner's mind. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. We're going to talk about how we can decide which of those two compare. And I call them traveling partners, because all of our tools, we carry them with us throughout our journey here on Earth, here in the 3D. It's from birth to death. We have access to our thoughts. We have access to our imagination. We have access to our words that we speak, to our ego. All of that, all of those go with us. And I think I remember sharing with you that ego is the first personality that introduced themselves, or himself, to us when we were children, when we were babies. I think when that baby looked in the mirror and saw its a reflection and said, "Who are you?" And it was ego that answered back. And I think I also encouraged you to think about this when you're thinking about ego, or you're thinking about that self-talk that you do. We all have the self-talk. We all talk to ourselves. Sometimes we're not even paying any attention. But if we stop and really think about the things that we think about, who's thinking? Who's doing the thinking? Who's doing the talking? Who's processing the thoughts? Who's conversing? And who's listening? Who's the observer and who is the observed? All right. So think about that. Think about that. Well, ego introduced himself or herself to that little baby, to you, when you were that "who are you" in the mirror. Ego said, "That's you," or "That's me," or "That's, I don't know." For me, at that point, I got totally confused with pronouns. So I don't know if ego is, but I do know that ego is not the authentic me. All right. So I'm the observer. All right. And ego's the chatterbox. So I say that I am the I am. All right. And ego is the ego. And I play tricks with myself with that, because I give ego a name. I give ego a name. I call ego, I name my ego. So ego has a name, and you're not Gene. You're not Gene. I tell ego, you're not Gene, and you're not the boss. And just because you feel like you know everything, that's okay. I'll take what you know. I'll listen to you what you know. And when I don't want to listen to you, I know how to ignore you. I know how to tell you to take a back seat. And an ego and I, my ego, right? We get along pretty well, fairly well. Sometimes I'll get off, got to thrown off a little bit, just because I'm human. Ego can get the best of me at times, but I ground myself, and take my rightful place, because I know who the authentic Gene is, and I can recognize who ego is too. So I encourage you to do the same. That you know who you're listening to, and know who's doing the talking, because if you get confused, if ego, ego's a fast talker now. If ego confuses you, and have you thinking that that's you, no, 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 no. Know who you are, Virginia. Know who you are, Jean. Know who you are, Stan. Know who you are. So ego will, you can put ego in its place. All right. So tonight again, we want to talk about who you're going to call when it's time to make a decision, or to set an intention, or make a choice. Because we make choices absolutely every, I don't know, probably tons and tons of times during the day. We're making a decision, and it is ego, and it is our authentic self and our intellect that converses with us to help us make that decision, or make those choices. So and we want to make the best choice. We want to make the choices that's best for our highest good, and for the good of everybody concerned. We want to make good, solid choices. So let's just look at whose advice you're going to take. All right. Whose advice you're going to take. Now, like I said, I think it probably would go without saying too often is that ego gets a bad rap. Ego has a tendency to be somewhat self-serving, self-absorbed, very self-conscious of ego self. Ego knows ego. All right. And ego will be known. Ego wants to be known. Ego wants to make a present. Ego wants to be seen and heard and reacted to and listened to. And we'll get a little bit upset with you if you ignore ego, or you try to dismiss. And ego will put up a fight. Ego will put up a good argument. Yeah, ego. But we are conscious, because we're conscious and we're aware and we're awakened. We understand that ego is a tool, a servant. Ego serves me. I don't serve ego. Ego don't get to tell me what to do. Ego don't get to tell you what to do. You get to consult with ego and ask ego's opinion. But let me tell you, you don't have to ask, by the way. Ego's going to give his or her opinion automatically. You don't even have to ask. All right. If ego senses that you're getting ready to jump off into something that you've never done before, ego, warning, warning, warning. Ego is going to stop you right in your tracks. Ego's going to stop you, going to question you. You're going to have to explain to ego what you're doing, why you're doing that. What are you doing? How you know? Ego is going to be frantic. All right. Because ego, ego is afraid of anything that's unknown. And when you step off into something that you've never done before, that's unknown. So ego is going to get nervous, because ego is very fearful. Ego is so afraid. Ego is afraid of its shadow. Is afraid of your shadow, afraid of your neighbor's shadow, your kids, everybody's shadow. Ego is just a big scaredy cat. So when you start deciding or trying to come up with something different and new, ego's not comfortable with that. Not at all. Not at all. So ego's going to stop you and sabotage you if ego has to. All right. And that's what they call self-sabotage. It's ego. It's that ego part of you. Because if you consult that beginner's mind, or your heart, or you listen to the intuition, you're getting information. You're getting information about that unknown. You're getting information from the unknown, from the thing that you're trying to figure out. You're getting information from it. Where ego's only thing that egos is going to be able to for sure tell you is things that happened in the past, and what ego has happened to be looking at right at the moment. Ego ego gets nervous when ego cannot see into the future, and ego will hold you back every chance ego can get because of that. Now, that's ego's job. Ego's job is to protect you. And ego doesn't understand that. Let's see how I want to put this. Well, originally, back in the cave days or the prehistoric days, ego had a real job to do. Ego had to alert that caveman of the tigers and bears and dragons and dinosaurs and pterodactyls and all those harmful things that cavemen had to, they couldn't go to the neighbor's cave without encountering a saber-toothed tiger or something. So ego had a job. He had a job to keep us alive and keep us protected and keep us safe. Well, we don't have to worry about that anymore. We don't have to worry about tigers and bears and from getting across the street, because we're sophisticated, we're intellectual now. We have signals and we have other objects and other things to help us. So ego needs we have to kind of help ego understand that we're no longer in the dark ages or the cave time or cave days or whatever. We're living in the 21st century, right? We've got alarms, we got smoke detectors, we got horns on our cars, we've got flashing lights, we've got a mind that's a little bit more educated than it was, more intellectual than it was back in the cave days, because we've exposed to more, we've evolved, so we have to help ego understand that we're not in danger like we were initially. originally or back in the day. So that's one of the things that, would help us understand that ego's just trying to do ego's thing, ego's job. But when we're talking about experiencing something that we've never experienced before, ego wants to chime in. And it's perfectly okay for ego to chime in, but understand that ego has a limited understanding, a limited access to information about anything new or different. Ego shuts off. The first thing that when you ask ego, when you're seeking ego, and ego is talking to you and giving you understanding, information, knowledge, it's usually limited again only to what ego has experienced in the past, or what we've known in the past, or what we can see right at the present. And in doing that, what happens is we I want to see how I want to put this, because I want to kind of make it sink in so you can understand. When ego is consulted, because ego is self-serving and self-absorbing, and got to protect you, and got to protect itself, herself, himself, ego is going to give you information that validates what you already know, or that's going to protect ego. It's not going to open up any new avenues for you. It's just going to confirm or validate what you already know, And that's not always the most expedient, the most productive, or the most successful, that's not always for the highest or the best good, just to validate what we already know. Now, when we're talking about being open-minded and using our beginner's mind, and we consult our beginner's mind, or a mind that's open to possibilities, open to new information, open to actually challenging what we know. Yeah, we know that, but that's what the open-minded beginner's mind can do, or will express to, or bring that information back to us. That's the information that will help us expand, where ego's information will just validate and confirm what we already know. Not gonna it's Ego does not like to be challenged. Ego does not like to be questioned, or given reasons why, because ego's going to come back with another reason why not, why you shouldn't. So when we consult with an open mind, beginner's mind, we're getting information that challenge what we already know, not validate what we know. Because when we're validating it for ego's sake, is to protect ego's position. Ego's position is to be the expert, or keep you safe, or keep you mm, the safe. That's what ego says. I'm going to give ego the benefit. That ego's position is to keep you safe. And because ego is fear-based, everything that's different or new is a threat and potentially dangerous to you. So ego's going to see everything that's new and different, a danger, and it's going to react in that manner. So giving ego the benefit of the doubt, ego's doing what you're supposed to be doing. But that's why we have, and that's why we are intellectuals, and that's why we have a mind, so we can weigh the information that we're receiving. We want to be practical. I say be practical at all costs when we're making a decision and we're making a choice. Make sure that it's practical, make sure that it's for the highest good, for your good, the good of everybody involved. You want all that. You want to be able to look at that. So you want to hear from ego. You don't want to shut him down or shut her down. You want ego to be a part of this, because we're all, we need all of our tools. We need as many, most of our tools for all of our tools for manifesting. So we want to utilize the servant ego. But just make sure that ego is not keeping you so safe that you are fearful. you're following egos, fear, and keeping yourself from really moving into the unknown, experiencing something that you hadn't experienced before, something that will expand you, that will grow you, that will involve you, rather than keep you limited and restricted, because ego is limited and restricted. But that's ego. That's the ego's job, and ego does a darn good job. We cannot have we I don't I say that we cannot navigate the third dimension, or the physical world, or this human experience, without ego as being a partner with us as we travel, and we navigate our life's journey. We need ego, but we don't need ego to be in the driver's seat. There's only one driver in your seat, in your vehicle, in your car, in your life, and that driver's seat is you. You get to decide. You get to decide who the co-pilot is, or the passenger person is. Is it gonna be your mind, your intellect, or is it gonna be ego? Or is it gonna be both? You really want to incorporate both, because you do want to be practical. When we set boundaries on ego, we really understand ego's role, and ego's position in our lives, and in our ability and our powers to create and manifest. We we begin to respect the fact, and give ego credit for being fearful. But we don't want that ego's fear to keep us keep the captain from doing its job. All right. But we want to hear from ego, so that we can look at the practical side of the warnings or the information that ego provides. But we want to experience. We want to venture off into the unknown. We want to try something new. We want to improve. We want to get better. We want to grow. We want to evolve. So we need our intellect. We need that beginner's mind. We need that open-minded, no expectation, no preconceptions, no already know it all, no expert. We want the beginner's attitude and the beginner's mind, so that we're absorbing and receiving additional information, more information, new information about our experience and our lives, our journey. If we don't receive that information, we'll tend to get stuck. We tend to get stuck, or we tend to backtrack, or we tend to, go around in circles. That's what ego would have us go around in circles, because that's familiar ground. But we want to venture forward. We want to move forward. We want our journey to move forward. So we're gonna have to move into an unknown. Ego's not going to be eager to go there. Right? Ego, but you want to be practical and cautious, not fearful, but practical and cautious. So yes, consult both your ego and your open beginner's mind. Look at every situation, every experience, every bit of knowledge that you receive. Look at it, and even if you've been doing it for 40 years, look at it with brand new eyes, with a brand new attitude, with openness, with the beginner mind. Not already I got this down. Don't worry, I got this down. I don't need no more. No, every day you open your eyes is a new day. It's a new day, it's a new opportunity. A new opportunity to even do something that you did yesterday. But you can do it a different way, with a new mind, and with the practicality and the caution of ego. All right. So who you're gonna call? You're gonna call both. You're gonna call your intellect, your mind, and you're gonna call ego. You're gonna call on both of them. And when you start that process, when you understand that that's the process that you're working your life journey, and you get your signals and your information from both that fear-based ego. But you can really train ego to understand that, you know that it's not to be so fearful. And that's actually that's probably a session that I'm going to probably look at. How do we help ego? How do we how do we reform or train or revise ego to understand that we don't live in the cave days anymore. That we're not prehistoric men and women anymore. That we have to worry about, getting from one cave to the other without being eaten up or ripped apart by some prehistoric animal. We don't need that kind of help anymore. And we understand we have intellect and a mind set that we know how to protect ourselves from harm. So we can give an ego, we can give ego a break, and ego can take a break, and we can teach ego how to take, how to take a break. I guess just chill, chill ego, and when you can't, we can teach ourselves how to ignore ego, how to shut down and tune out ego, and just keep it moving. Because if we don't, if we let either or, if we let our just our open mind or our mind just run amok. How I'm an air sign, and I can tell you, my train of thinking and my process of thought is just continuous, and it can go off the rail. So we want to be in that authentic us, that person, that observer, that true authentic gene, or that I amness, that I amness of us. That is the captain. That's the final decision maker. That's the person that say yay or nay. That's the person that attends to what ego has to provide, that information that ego has to provide, as well as being insistent that our mind remain open to receive new information that challenge what we already know, so that we can grow and evolve and move into something new and different, and experience life as just like it's given. It's a new mercies and new graces absolutely every day. So we should have a new attitude and a new outlook and a new perspective on every day that we're given, so that we won't miss a thing. We won't miss a thing. All right. And I'm going to probably leave it at that. And I think that next week we'll talk a little bit about how we can help ego chill. how to teach ego to be just kind of chill out, just take a back seat, um, and you take your rightful place as the authentic, the I amness. You take your role, your mind, whether it's a beginner's mind or whether you're full of intellect, you're the smartest person, if you're an Einstein Jr. or whatever. No matter, that mind is a tool, and so is ego. Those thoughts that you have are tools. That process, the thinking process that you do, that's a tool. The desire, the wants, your dreams, that's all part of your toolbox. So treat them as such. They don't tell you what to do. You consult them. You gather the information, and then you decide. You're the captain of your ship. You run things, okay? Not ego. Ego don't run nothing. Ego is a tool, a helpful tool. We loved ego. Again, like I said, ego was your first traveling partner that had the nerve to introduce herself to you way back when. And ego will travel with you until you take your last breath. So just get comfortable with them. Get comfortable with her. Get comfortable with ego. Learn who the observer is, and learn who the observed. All right. You're the captain of your ship. You're the manifester. You decide. You get to decide. All right. That's all I have tonight. I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to share. But anyway, next week have a new topic. Well, next month we're going to have a new topic. We have one more week. Yeah, we have one more session, and then we're going to be talking about have a new tool. We're gonna be looking at a new tool. It's kind of had two requests. One request was they wanted to get some more information on energy or consciousness or creation. I think it was creation. That one, creation. Can you talk a little bit about creation? That's the stuff that we're made out of. So and that's really not a tool. That's who we are. We are creation. We are that energy. So I have to kind of meditate and study on that one a little bit and see what approach we want to do on that. But if you have a question about creation, you can pass some questions on to me, and I have something to look at and to think about, and to, as I probably put together an June's session. It's going to either be creation or was another somebody else hasn't had another question, another topic that they suggested. But anyway, a new topic in June. We have one more session next week on ego. We're going to be talking about how to reform, revise, and retrain your ego. Keep, so you won't have to, have that insistent yak, 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 yada, yada, blah, 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 blah. You know how ego does. Anyway, until next week, remember that you are an unlimited, unrestricted created being, created out of the same stuff of your creator. You can do and have and be all that your creator and source and God and divine can have and do and be. And nothing is withheld from you. Absolutely nothing. What your Father can do, so can you. Anyway, until next week, remember, manifest best. I love you because that's just who you are. We're love, so we love. Okay. See you next week. Good night.